appreciate you taking the time to do this. We are big fans of Dylan Playfair and this household, to say the least.
Awesome.
We're going to get around to that, but Game Changers is how we were connected. How long did you have to sit on the fact that you were cast in Game Changers?
You know what? In the sense of like, how long did I have to wait until I was on the set itself?
Well, some roles that people do, they're casting it, they film it, but they're not allowed to say that they're in it until it's actually out.
Oh yeah. That, Game Changers is an interesting experience because Steve Brill, the creator of Mighty Ducks, who's a fan of Letterkenny, had touched base with the producer Ariel Boisfort in Vancouver, and her and I had worked together on a couple other Disney projects. And when he connected the dots, he thought, well, we should get Dylan out for a cameo. So we went and we met for dinner, and we talked about the role, which was meant to be quite small. It was actually going to be like Adidas guy or something. It wasn't even a credited name. And we ended up hitting it off, and we had a bunch of other stuff in common beyond just Mighty Ducks.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, I think you'd be really great for Coach T. So at the time, we were going to do the Letterkenny live tour. So we filmed the episode 1, the pilot, and it was going to time out perfectly. There was going to be a couple of days of overlap with the live tour, and it was going to all take place inside of like a 4-month time frame. And then COVID hit.
Mm-hmm.
So to answer your question, it was a full year. I had to sit on it for a full entire year. But silver lining with COVID, I was able to be written into several more episodes as Coach T and sort of evolve the character a little bit more. So the happy accident was I was able to be the coach of the Ducks and still play Letterkenny at the end of, well, we're getting ready to go at the end of this month. So it's coming up pretty soon here.
That is fantastic to hear that you're able to do both shows, which are both great, but both have you in a hockey context. Was there ever a fear in your career, like, hey, I'm going to be typecasted as the hockey guy?
It's funny. I was talking earlier in the day to a woman from the NHL network, and she asked a similar question. And I said, a cool thing about my experience playing hockey is I've met so many different characters who aren't just hockey players. They're characters in and of themselves. So I think having that background and having that understanding of the different characters in a room, coaching teams, I feel like I'm not just playing hockey players. I'm playing characters who happen to play hockey. And because of that, I'm not afraid of being typecast or pigeonholed. And I've got a fantastic, management team who goes out and finds passion projects and things like that. But at the end of the day, my dad always says, do what you love and you'll never work a day in your life. And I want to play rally until they drag me off set kicking and screaming. And there wasn't a chance I was going to say no to the Mighty Ducks. So if hockey roles keep coming, I'll keep taking them if the characters are fun to play.
I think you just accidentally quoted Letterkenny because they say that probably 5 times in the show, that do what you love and you'll never work a day in your life. I don't know if that's for me, but it's true.
There you go. And the beautiful thing about Letterkenny is so much of that humor comes from the genuine interactions that we have offset as friends, because we were all friends before the show became what it is today. So you'll see a lot of little idioms and sayings that have circulated in our friend group are now in the show and have been forever branded as Letterkenny.
That's fantastic. I personally grew up as a Mighty Ducks fan. I know I saw the first 2 in the theater. I don't think I saw the 3rd one in the theater per se, but did you have a favorite character from the movies growing up?
Yeah, of course, Charlie Conaway. You gotta love Charlie, the captain, the leader, Vancouver boy. But as I got older, I really look at Emilio's character, Bombay, and the lessons that he instilled in an entire generation of kids were amazing. And then to be on set and to actually, interact with him and work with him and get to know him a little bit. He really sort of challenges the idea of never meet your heroes, because meeting him was a pleasure and just made me feel so welcome and really, he's Coach Bombay. He was fantastic to work with, and I was just so stoked to know that he's as good of a guy as they paint in the movies.
it didn't occur to me until recently how the opening of Mighty Ducks is actually pretty dark when you think about it, that a guy, instead of going to jail after a DUI arrest, coaches community service. That's surprisingly dark for a Disney thing, but pretty awesome when you think about that as an adult.
Yeah, you know, it's hilarious you mentioned that. I didn't even pick up on it as a kid until, well, I didn't pick up on it as a kid. I picked up on it when I went and rewatched the Mighty Ducks movies in prep for this role, and I said the same thing to my fiance. I was like, he got to do it. He was forced to do this. I forgot about that part. And he rolls up on the ice in a limo. He's just not happy to be there. But the cool thing about it is it makes it go. It makes it feel full circle in Game Changers when you see he's sort of been chewed up and spit out by hockey, and he's got this resentment towards the game, and to sort of watch that evolution, you know, mirror his evolution in Mighty Ducks 1, 2, and 3. I think fans who grew up with this series will be very happy to see the way the homage is paid to that storyline.
Yeah, well, I give you absolute credit as an actor. You kind of fall into that. Hear me out here. You fall into that Lisa Kudrow category rather, where the character you're playing is really dim-witted, and you then see the person in interviews, and I've seen your cameo videos, and you're not only well-spoken, but you're highly intelligent. So I can't imagine how much people speak to you a little slower on a natural basis because you're so convincing in what you do.
Thank you. Yeah, I know it's a compliment. It truly is. You know, it's funny. Some of the compliments I've gotten having played the characters I play. You know, I've played some bullies, I've played some jocks, I've played some dummies, and if you do that well, you get comments like, "Hey, you're a real jerk," or like, "Wow, you're actually pretty smart," you know. But I stand by the fact that, and maybe they're just saying it to make me feel better, but Jacob Tierney, credit to him, the director of Letterkenny, says you have to be smart to play dumb. You have to know where you are to play dumb. You have to understand your place in the story. So either he's just pat me on the back to make me feel better, or I'm on the right track. But no, I love acting, and I think I apply a lot of the same stuff from hockey, which is know your role, do your role well, and the team will do better for it. So, you know, I'm not trying to recite Einstein's theory of relativity if Coach T is a bit of a blockhead. I'm happy with that.
So you're not the only person in your family to have found success, or at least a background in hockey. But is there anyone else that's moved into the entertainment space in your family?
Yeah, actually, my 6'6" little brother Austin, who played for the Tri-City Americans. He is now he's a fashion. We went to fashion school, so he took his Western League scholarship and went to Blanche McDonald, and now works on Charmed. He's one of the costume designers on Charmed. Him and his fiance. And my middle brother Jackson is one of the programmers for EA Sports NHL series. So all three of us have actually segued into the entertainment industry. Yeah, kind of cool, hey?
Wow, yeah, most families, there's just one sibling that tries to go into the entertainment field, and they all look down on them a little bit like, you know, you could still be a teacher. That may or may not have happened in my family with me. But it seems like that you have this great upbringing of parents who said, whatever you want to do, you can do it.
Yeah, you know, I really believe that came out of my dad's experience playing hockey. And, you know, his older brother, Larry, he played 12 years in the NHL with the Buffalo Sabres and the LA Kings. And then my dad went and he was drafted by Edmonton and played, he had a lengthy career. He ended up retiring in 92. But they both came from a small town, Fort St. James, northern BC, and made a career out of something that is, you know, it's difficult. It's hard to do, and few people make it. So for me growing up, watching him do that job, I always felt like I wanted to do something that didn't feel like work. And I go back to that saying that I probably overuse, but it's been my ethos for a long time of do what you love and you'll never work a day in your life. And I think it really, at its core, it means those hard hours, those long days, those thankless auditions, those things that at the time could be perceived as very, very hard work, doesn't feel like that if you know you're on a journey for something that you really would be doing for free anyway. You know, if I firmly believe that if I weren't doing what I'm doing professionally, I would enjoy telling stories. I would want to do community theater. I would still want to be, you know, the guy who makes the teammates laugh in the dressing room. So the fact that I get to do this as a living, I think, is a testament to having, you know, watched my dad do what he does for a living.
Well, we're leading towards the next thing, which I was going to ask, which is, if you go back 30, 40 years, actors just wanted to be actors per se. And nowadays, most actors seem like they already have their 20-year plan ironed out where they go, well, I'm going to be a writer, director, producer by this film. Is that in your blood that you're thinking long-term to that?
Yeah, 100% it is. And it's, I think like you mentioned, it's not just me. It's not something that I'm reinventing the wheel and saying, hey, I'm going to break this mold. But I see people like Jared Kiso, who's created the Letterkenny universe, and having worked with Steve Brill, who created the Mighty Ducks universe. I will forever be an actor. I will forever take roles that inspire me. And especially, I love comedy. Comedy is the thing that is, for me, feels the least like work. It's the most fun. But then to have the ability to go and create your own stories and tell your own stories. I mean, we just got back from Fort St. James. We filmed a short film out there called Whistle, and we'll be submitting that to festivals this year. And that was something that from concept to completion, we had, and by we, I mean my production company, complete control over. And that's something that I just, I'm very antsy. I've got ADD. The teachers used to say when I was the doctor said I have ADD. So I'm all over the place. But for me, the remedy is staying busy. And by staying busy, doing things that I like to do, I think that's going to be the healthiest for me and those around me.
Got it. Well, I admire all that work ethic. Steve Brill himself, I don't know if I'm allowed to call him Steve. I think I still have to call him Steven because, you know, not meeting him. But what an interesting career and journey he's had. That's the same guy who did Little Nicky, which is another household favorite over here, that he's able to do R-rated comedy and also PG comedy because he works with characters that appeal to everybody in some form. So you said that Steve Brill was a fan of Letterkenny. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I mean, I think fan is probably doing it a disservice. I mean, he's sent me screen caps of conversation. Well, not screen caps, but he's sent me insights to conversations he's had with even Edward Norton, who is now a fan because of Steve. I mean, he's championing this show across the United States. And I think it sort of comes from that same place of him recognizing friends working together, doing strong work. And that to me is the Sandler universe. You start to see the same characters show up, and they happen to shoot these films in beautiful locations and in the summertime, and you know, they're creating content that they know people will like to see. They're doing it with their friends, and they've got a formula. And I think that's something that, you know, we really vibed on with Letterkenny, because it truly is that. It's going out and spending a couple months with really close friends, knowing your characters, playing in those characters, and then sharing it with people who share the same sense of humor with you. And that's great, and that's really fun. But then there's also that sort of time to go and, I think, ask more critical questions and tell stories that might have, you know, a little bit of a different kind of resonance than Little Nicky, of which I'm a huge fan as well. So shout out to Little Nicky, and every Brill project that's ever been made. I laugh at them and laugh with them. So they're all great. But then you also look at someone like Sandberg, who's going out and making, you know, really, really goofy comedies, but then does something like, you know, is it
Palm Springs is great.
Pardon me?
Palm Springs?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And, you know, there's so much, I think there's so much as far as places, there's so many places you can distribute your content now, where I think we're far less sort of penciled into, are you a film actor? Are you a TV actor? Are you a comedic actor? Are you a dramatic actor? With streaming today, I really believe you can do it all.
Right. Well, 3 quick questions, and then you're a free man, keeping you on time here. And the first one.
I can do it.
Well, thank you. First question is, does Riley have a first name?
Riley. Jonesy. It's been a topic of conversation since season 1. But it's like, I think they're like Seal. Like
Seal is an excellent question or reference right there, because my next question was going to be, who is your favorite band? I couldn't figure that out through research.
Bachman Turner Overdrive. Love me some BTO. I've never heard an Eagles song I didn't like. And the Dirty Heads. The Dirty Heads seem to really capture my outlook on life.
Wow, so, BTO, Winnipeg's finest, right?
Yeah, I think, I believe there's Winnipeg roots with BTO. I'd hate to, someone will correct us if we're wrong. Comments will let us know.
There you go. And then my closing question for you, because I said 3 and we're keeping the 3 here. And this could be as long as you want, as short as you want, and include as much self-promotion as you want. And that's, Dylan, any last words for the kids?
For the kids, geez. Don Cherry over here. Again, I'm going to say it again. Do what you love and you won't work. You want to work hard. Find something you really enjoy doing and put in hours to do it. But in today's day and age, if you love riding horses, if you love wood carving, if you love telling stories, if you love building cabinets, in the world we live in today, if you do anything well, you'll be able to turn it into a career. I've got friends who do custom clocks out of wood. They create these unique hand-carved wooden clocks and sell them on Etsy, and that's his full-time gig. My little brother Austin went from a junior hockey player to a seamstress, and now he's is seamstress the right term?
Seamstro.
He makes clothes now, and he loves what he's doing. I was convinced at age 18 I was playing in the NHL. That was what I was gonna do, and I loved that journey. And I changed my mind quickly, and now I'm an actor, and I love that journey. And I'm pursuing acting, directing, producing. I think whatever you do in your life, if you do it from a place of love, then you'll go do the hard work, and you'll have success in it. Because if you're doing something you enjoy, you're winning at the game of life. So do what you love.
Changing the game changing. And the best way to find you on social media and the web and Game Changers, please give me an address.
Yes, Instagram at Dylan Playfair 1, Twitter at Dylan Playfair, Facebook. I don't check my Facebook. Don't worry about my Facebook.
Don't go there.
Yeah, and I just got TikTok, so I'll be ticking and a talking. I don't know how to use TikTok, but Instagram and Twitter, hit me up.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time. I'm looking forward to everything that's coming from you soon, man. Take care.
And thanks so much, man. It was a lot of fun.
Paltrocast.